Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and today I'd like to talk to you about Sentinel. We're going to go over his abilities, T4 upgrades, ISO 8 options, Dark Dimension prospects, leveling and gearing, and at the end I'm going to talk about my plans for him. So without further ado, let's get into it. I like to start with the passive, Mutant Hunter. On spawn and on revive, summon one random Sentinel reinforcement ally. His two options are Reinforcement Gun and Reinforcement Sword. We're going to look at those kits as well. On this character's first turn, gain Taunt and Safeguard. In raids, if this character has 4 or more Orchis allies, enemies cannot gain Deathproof. The T4 upgrade means on his first turn he's going to apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Orchis allies, and this is in any game mode. I think just by this, this is an essential upgrade, but we are going to look at what it does for the bots. Applying Safeguard to the whole team in any game mode is very nice. Alright, so now let's look at the Reinforcement Sword. This is the Brawler one. His passive reads, on spawn, apply Deflect to self and all Orchis allies. In raids, on turn, if a Sentinel is dead, he's going to kill himself and revive Sentinel. And on non-summoned tech ally turn, he's going to gain Speed Bar. 5%, but it's still something. The T4 upgrade, so this would apply from Sentinel's passive T4 upgrade. It'll go from 20% health on revive to 30%. That's nice. And in raids on turn, he will generate 1 energy for a random non-summoned tech ally that is not at full energy. So it helps the team with their energy management. So I think just from the virtue of this, it was worth it, but the bot also solidifies that value basically. And then with the gun, the only difference in this passive is on spawn, the sword applies deflects, the gun applies or flips all debuffs into buffs. The rest of the passive and the T4 upgrade is the same. Alright, that was lengthy, I know. Alright, his ultimate. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, starts ready. Summon 1 random bot, attack primary and adjacent, apply offense down. He gains extra damage per Sentinel reinforcement ally. And this attack is unavoidable. The T4 upgrade makes it where instead of summoning 1 random bot, he summons guaranteed 2, and it's 1 of each. So that is a very nice upgrade, and I would call that an essential one. It's not maybe game breaking, but a lot of the teammates on this Orchis team have callouts to having bots or summoned tech allies, so this feeds into that. Even this ability does more damage when he has more Sentinel reinforcement allies. So I think that's a good thing to have, and it guarantees that you get 1 of each. So that's a very good upgrade. Alright, his special, neutralize target, also on a 4-turn cooldown, also comes ready. Summon 1 random bot, attack primary for damage, bonus attack twice for damage, apply offense up for 2 turns, and deflect to self and all Orchis allies. The T4 adds another bonus attack and goes from 1 deflect to 2 deflects. Unfortunately, this one doesn't add the second bot. I think this is nice, but it's nothing special. Definitely skippable, in my opinion. Alright, now let's look at the basic. Attack primary for damage, apply offense down, apply counter to 3 random Orchis allies or self. The T4 adds extra damage, but it also takes the counter from 3 Orchis allies to all Orchis allies. Keep in mind, he's probably going to have 2-3 bots on the field, So you're looking at 8 characters. Um, 3 out of 8 versus eight out of 8 is a big difference. I'm not gonna call it essential, but I'm gonna say it's very, very, very high value. Um, Imagine like you get hit with an AOE, 8 people countering, um, versus just 3. So this is very high value. Um, it's not essential. It doesn't like add a super crazy functionality, but it brings a lot of damage and it's very good value. Now let's look at what this T4 upgrade does to the bots. The sword uh, bot, which is the brawler, attack primary for damage. In raids, flip 2 buffs to debuffs, apply bleed, gain taunt. The T4 just adds damage. It also increases the damage of the bleed, but it's nothing to write home about. Um, it's actually pretty kind of boring upgrade. All right, the gun ally, uh, attack primary and adjacent for damage. In raids, gain taunt. The T4 makes it where he rewinds 10% on primary and adjacent targets in raid. So that is very, very nice. Again, to me, it's not essential, but it's almost up there. It's very high value, so definitely, definitely recommend doing this T4. All right. In terms of abilities, I think that's about it. Now let's talk about ISO classes. Since we have the basic over here, let's look at it. Applying counter to all Orchis allies on his ISO attack, I think makes a very good case for Striker, and I think that's his preferred option. I could see a discussion about Fortifier. So the thing is, he's designed to die and come back. For other tanks, especially while they're small, we'll say like use Fortifier because he needs to stay tanking. But this guy not only summons bots that taunt as well, he is designed to die and then keep coming back. And the Fortifier doesn't really um, make a difference in this cycle. Now, outside of raids, he does not have that effect of like the bots don't do the revive. So I would say um, maybe outside of raids, he you could consider Fortifier. That one's kind of case by case basis. I I would say outside of raids, you could consider Fortifier while he's small. Let me put that disclaimer there. When he's big, I think he's gonna want to be a striker through and through. So yeah, his final destination is striker. If you're running him outside of raids, and if he just seems too small to handle anything, you could do fortifier, but that's kind of a more experiential decision that you got to make on your own. I would say striker. Oh well. Um, Yeah, so that's ISO. In terms of building, as I said, he's designed to go and come back, so stats aren't necessarily um, that crucial for him. You could get away with having him small. My recommendation would still be gear 18, but yeah, you could push 17. It really depends on what level of raid you're doing. So assess for yourself. If you're min maxing, you could do 16, go in, see what that looks like. Next day, go in with 17 if 16 didn't work. Stay where it feels good. My benchmark now that I'm doing Orchis raid would be gear 18. Of course, if you want to do 19 or level 100, go for it. Uh, Anybody could use the stats. He just doesn't necessarily need them. And if you're low on resources, he would be somebody to min max on this team. Um, in terms of Dark Dimension, he's kind of not much. He doesn't do much outside of raids. As a solo character, I would say definitely no. Um, with team members, I think he'll do fine. Especially if you have Scientist Supreme, Sentinel, and then like two others. I think they'll do really well. Like he on paper he's not that great. Keep in mind his stats are in the new meta. Um, he's part of a raid team, so if you go in there with 3 or 4 Orchis characters, if you have sustain, um, then you should do well. It is kind of a tougher one to say because if like what saying do 3 or 4 Orchis characters, that's a lot of tech early on, um, and that might not necessarily be possible for everybody, and I get that. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant, but definitely not as a solo character. You can't just do like Cabal, Nightcrawler, and Sentinel. He 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 would be useless in my opinion. He definitely wants Orcus allies in there if you're taking him. Um, I think yeah we're up to the last part, which would be my plan. I don't plan on buying him. I I'm not that interested. He's okay. Of course, like he's a key member of the team. So when I do get him, whatever that looks like, they've changed the unlock methods so much. I hope we get a decent unlock for him. It's a raid team. So whenever I get him, I will build him to gear 18 as I recommended. Um, I don't see myself going to 19. I might push 100 if it looks like he's too weak. Um, but or I mean eventually I'm sure like 3 months down the line or whenever the next raid comes, 100 will be um, helpful. But right now, I don't foresee needing it. T4s, I'll do his basic, I'll do his ultimate and his passive. His special isn't all that interesting to me, so maybe, probably not. I'll just do those three. Um, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, let me know what you think. Are you gonna buy him? I know I didn't make too compelling of an argument, but I know Run Seven was super excited. I wish he could have been here when this team was released. Um, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Are you going to buy Sentinel? Are you excited for Orcus? Let me know your thoughts. Um, oh, before I go, I will have a crash course infographic for Sentinel, and I will link it in the description below. I do that for every new character that releases and every new rework, so keep an eye out. Thank you for going over Sentinel's kit with me. I hope to see you in the next one.